New for 2019 are the Ram 1500 and Chevy Silverado. This generation Ford F-150 has been out since 2015, but it received a mild update in 2018. This year's comparison test should be very competitive. Before we begin, let me explain how I compare the trucks. I show multiple different trim levels on screen for the sake of variety, but I evaluate the trucks at one specific trim. Furthermore, the evaluation will be numeric in form on a scale from 1 to 10 at the end of the video to compare them as objectively as possible. The 2019 Ford F-150 Lariat is the trim I will be evaluating today, and it starts at $41,700. Starting with the exterior features, the F-150 sports heated, auto-dimming, and power-folding side mirrors, daytime running lights, LED box lighting, and 18-inch aluminum wheels. Let's move on to the interior, which is swathed with leather and wood grain in the Lariat. The driver and front passenger are further coddled with 10 ways of power adjustability in the seats, and the pedals are power adjustable to fit the height of the driver. Speaking of which, the F-150 also has a memory function for the seat position depending on which key starts the vehicle. Other features include dual zone climate control, an 8-inch infotainment screen in the dash, push button start, Sirius XM, Wi-Fi, and Ford My Key. My Key promotes responsible driving so that parents can control their children's use of the vehicle in terms of audio volume, speed, and seatbelt usage. The infotainment screen in the dash has Ford's Sync 3 on it, which comes with Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard. The only active safety technology that comes standard on the Lariat is a pre-collision system with automatic emergency braking. I have a feeling that the Ram and Silverado will have more safety technology now that they're essentially 4 years newer. So let's check out the 2019 Silverado Lt next and see if I was right about the active safety. Well, my hunch was wrong about the Silverado. In fact, it has less standard safety equipment than the Ford, but we'll get to that in a second. The base LT is the cheapest truck of the group at $38,395. Standard exterior features are limited to 17-inch wheels, DRLs, and heated side mirrors. The seats in the Chevy are manually adjustable 4 ways for both the passenger and driver. The interior is cloth, the infotainment system is 8 inches, and there is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. The Chevy also has remote keyless entry and a teen driver system. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also present here. The climate control system is single-zone manual, but the truck has GM's OnStar. At this point, the Chevy looks pretty sparse compared to the F-150. But remember, it comes at a $3,305 cost savings relative to that vehicle. The Ram 1500 Laramie is only $1,500 more expensive than the Chevy at $39,895. Let's see if it can one-up the Chevy in terms of features. The exterior has similar features to the Ford, like 18-inch wheels, daytime running lights, and the same side mirror features. The Ram actually has both LED headlights and taillights, something the other trucks don't have. The inside has a memory function for the driver's seat, but the front seats are still bench style. The interior is still leather and the steering wheel is heated. The Ram has a combined 12-way power adjustable driver and front passenger seat, and the biggest touchscreen in the segment at 8.4 inches. This houses Chrysler's Uconnect system, which has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, among other more pedantic things like Sirius XM and Bluetooth. Keyless entry and push-button start are also present here. The standout interior features on the Ram are the 9-speaker Alpine audio system with subwoofer and navigation. These features are options on the other two trucks. All 3 of these trucks I have here are being compared with their base engine for the trim line, which happens to be a V6 for 2 trucks and an inline 4-cylinder for another. You got that right, 4 cylinders. Now don't throw a fit in the comments just yet though. I understand that lots of buyers opt for the V8 no matter what trim level they are at. But the manufacturers don't list the price of a V8 as an option on their website, and I don't want to guess. Furthermore, the Silverado Lt can't even be optioned with a V6, let alone a V8. If I were to compare similar engines instead of price points, the cheapest Silverado with a V6 is the LTZ, which starts at over $44,000. I'm evaluating what each truck offers at around $40,000, a price point, which is the fairest in my opinion. The 2019 F-150 Lariat comes with a 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 with 325 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. The power comes from twin turbos. Thankfully, the cylinders are still iron, as is the upper block. This engine is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Even though truck buyers may dismiss the V6, the truck actually gets down, taking only 5.9 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. This modern powertrain promises a lot in terms of fuel economy, though most buyers aren't too worried about that. Brands must still raise their corporate average fuel economy though, and trucks aren't immune. It's tough to predict the reliability on this largely untested powertrain though, especially since it's boosted. We'll have to see how it holds up as the years go on. Let's look at the Chevy and see if they too fell victim to downsizing, and how they decided to answer the call. The Silverado Lt comes with an identical displacement 2.7-liter engine, but as mentioned, it's a 4-cylinder engine. Because of this, it musters 310 horsepower and 348 pound-feet of torque, and is mated to an 8-speed automatic. This powertrain, though a unique solution to the fuel economy problems that GM is facing, seems weak compared to the V6s in the other trucks. Not everything is about numbers, though, as the 4-cylinder Chevy can still hit 60 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, so it's no slouch. Also, Chevy may have the last laugh when we turn to fuel economy, which I will get to later. And now for the Ram. It has the familiar Chrysler 3.6-liter V6, though it's reworked for 2019 to deliver 305 horsepower and 269 pound-feet of torque. Though dated for 2019, especially in comparison to the other trucks, this engine has literally more history, and many of its kinks have had the opportunity to be worked out over the years. The combination is good for a 7.4-second run to 60 miles per hour, which is embarrassing when confronted with the 4-pot in the Chevy. Also, it lacks the torque that the turbos have added to the other two trucks, and we'll see if it gets penalties in fuel economy or towing for the bigger size and less power. The F-150 in this configuration has a max payload of 1,910 pounds and can tow 7,600 pounds. The Chevy has a payload of 2,027 and can tow 6,800. The Ram has the best payload at 2,100 pounds and matches the Chevy with a max towing of 6,730 pounds. All three of these trucks can tow far more when equipped with different rear ends or towing packages, but these are the standard numbers. The Ford gets 20 miles per gallon in the city and 26 on the highway. The Chevy gets 20 in the city and 23 on the highway. Looks like the smaller engine couldn't beat the Ford even when it came to fuel economy, but it's probably more due to transmission choice. The 10-speed in the Ford is in its element on the highway. The Ram is rated in the middle at 20 city and 25 highway. Sometimes a bigger engine working not as hard is still burning less gas than a smaller engine that's getting its neck wrung. I won't be including active safety technology here because I already included it in value, but I will take a look at the IIHS ratings for each vehicle. The Ford does phenomenal here, earning good in every category and superior in front crash prevention. The headlights are scored as poor, however. The only data for the Silverado was from 2018, but even then it earned good in most categories except for driver's side small overlap where it got acceptable, and headlights where it too got poor. The front crash prevention was rated as basic in 2018, but it's unfair to judge the 2019 model with these ratings. I assume the Silverado got better in crash prevention, but I will put an asterisk next to it at the end to remind everyone that the official ratings aren't out yet. The 2019 Ram did even better than the Ford, scoring exactly the same everywhere except headlights, where the rating was bumped from poor to marginal. Next, let's look at styling, which is a purely subjective category. Your taste may not align with my own, but I think the 2019 Silverado is the best looking on the exterior. When it came out, I couldn't tell if it was the best looking truck of the year or the worst looking, but I eventually settled on best. The F-150 and Ram don't carry the in-person road presence that I feel the Silverado does. That may be because of ride height and wheels as well, but something about the Ram makes it feel like a car, not something Rams of yore are known for. Neither of the three are particularly ugly, but I do like the Ram the second best and the Ford third. On the interior, the Ram is far and away the best, offering a luxurious feel with spacious usable room. The screen is rotated to be portrait instead of horizontal, and the rest of the dash is clean while remaining modern. The Chevy comes in a distant second, with the Ford at third. Again, neither interior is ugly, but the Chevy was a mere evolution of the 2018 model, and the Ford has generally unattractive vent placement. According to Consumer Reports' extensive testing, the 2019 F-150 is expected to have about average reliability, whereas the Silverado is rated worse than average, and the Ram matches the Ford's rating of average. Here are the final points tallied up for each category. The Ram destroyed the value segment because of its super premium features for a good price, relative to both other trucks. Safety is all pretty close, but remember that the Silverado isn't rated yet, so I gave it my best guess as to what it will score. The Silverado and F-150 score big in powertrain and performance, but the Ram takes a hit for using an antiquated engine that's slower than both other trucks. However, it made big strides in styling for having a beautiful interior and decent exterior. I weighted fuel economy less than the other categories since truck buyers care less about it. The Chevy lost 2 points in reliability as each step in the rankings Consumer Reports gives is worth 2 points in my comparisons. Finally, the F-150 wins capability by 1 point for having a significantly higher tow rating, though the Ram and Chevy beat it in payload. Ultimately, the Ram is the best truck to buy in 2019, though none of these offerings could really be considered bad. To each his own. Thanks for watching. Tune in next year to see if the Ram can keep its spot as king of the trucks.